Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. Huzzah! That's what I'd like to say. Huzzah! Because today, Nick, is launch day, open enrollment for the class of 2023 for our Mastermind by How to Film Weddings. I am clapping at you. I'm clapping at you, Nick, because I'm excited to have our third year of Mastermind. What the frick is Mastermind, though? And before that, how the frick are you? Pardon my language.
This is my favorite thing. Has become my favorite thing about recording a podcast is you talk about all the stuff we're going to talk about, and then you take two steps back and ask me how I am. I'm well. I'm great.
I care about
I'm splendid.
you.
No, I care about you. I just care enough about you to ask you how you are before getting into the episode.
Okay, yeah, I feel that. You care about... I think it's pretty obvious I care less about you than
That's
you
what
care
I was
about
trying
me.
to say.
Yeah,
That's
I'm more
what I was
important
trying
to
to
you.
say.
That tracks, yes.
Yeah, you are more important to me than I am to you, I think.
100%, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, doing super good, super well. This last week, John, we were in Palm Springs, California. Spending time with our Mastermind students for the past year. It was great. We got to connect with people that we had seen online for a year. We got to connect with people that we had spent time with in person before. Our How to Film Weddings team. I'm rejuvenated. I'm feeling great. I'm excited. And I cannot wait for the next class of Mastermind. So I'm doing well. Huzzah.
Huzzah. Everybody in their cars or at the gym, no matter where you're at listening, just say huzzah and let us know what
Yell
people
it
do around
at the
you.
top of your lungs.
Yes.
Or say it quietly
that's
under
on
your
you.
breath. Like, I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Yes, we just got back from a week in Southern California in the desert. We had a 90s themed party. We had a pool day. We shot at Joshua Tree National Park, styled shoots. Got to hang out with White and Reverie and KEJ and LaRev Films and Sam Jacobson, and the list kept going. And got to hang out with our team, which is always great. But
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those mountaintop moments at the end of a Mastermind year. We've done this twice now, and about opening up today the third year of just like, oh my goodness, all this work, all this comes together, and then be able to look out and see like the community that is How to Film Weddings. And so it's exciting, to say the least. It's a huzzah kind of day where we are opening the doors at 10 a.m. Central if you're listening to this right now on Monday, the doors should be open. So if you head to mmxhtfw.com, you can check out and apply to be a member of Mastermind. But Nick, what is Mastermind? But Nick, sounds like I'm like calling you a bad name.
But Nick.
Like Nick.
Spud. Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, what is Mastermind? You know, we've been talking about it for a few weeks. You've been listening to podcasts of different students that have been a part of Mastermind. We've been talking about it on Instagram and on socials and in our Facebook book group and stuff. So what is Mastermind? Mastermind is a year-long adaptive course training. Maybe that's a really good way to put it.
Rolls off the tongue.
It does roll off the tongue. An adaptive course training is what Mastermind is. What we do is, for everyone that is involved with it, we have it set up where John and I go live every single week for trainings. And this past year, we had it set up where we had 2 during the week, Tuesday afternoons and Tuesday evenings. If you are interested in this, we are going to have 2 trainings, one in the afternoon and one in the evening, so that you can get the time that works best for you. And we talked about everything that we could really talk about as far as things that wedding videographers are interested in. We talked about your why you're in business, your branding, coloring, audio, editing, how to shoot certain ways. And then we bring in lots and lots of guest speakers to present to you and to talk to you about once a month. But this year, John, we have something exciting that we're doing. The last couple of years, we brought in 12 guest speakers. So we're like, once a month it'll happen. But this year, we wanted to double down and do something special. You had a really good idea. So what are we doing different for this year when it comes to our guest speakers?
Yeah. For the guest speakers, it's always such a fresh perspective to bring in some of the industry's finest wedding filmmakers, wedding planners, musicians, different things, and say, like, hey, we really want you to talk on a new subject. We want you to go deeper. Instead of like a surface level podcast, we can like really dive in. For instance, like Kaylin with White and Reverie does like a 2-hour deep dive on color grading, understanding color science. We spend like 2 or 3 weeks leading up to that, just like talking about color for your wedding films and deep diving into like how to get the best color in camera, how to get the best light. And then Kaylin comes in and says, I've spent these 10,000 hours on color grading. Let me give you a deep dive and then answer your questions. And so we once a month would have a guest speaker. And to answer your question, we started looking at it this last year, and Nick and I we're teaching the other sessions, and we end up teaching 40 different times throughout the year. And it was like, man, we could bump that down to 30 times and add 10 more guest speakers. And so that's what we've done. We are now going to offer over 20 guest speakers. And Nick, why don't you who are they?
So our confirmed guest speakers for next year, we have Larev Film, Sam Jacobson, Hello Tomorrow, Jake Weisler, Peyton Frank, KEJ Productions, Good Co Studios, Matt Johnson, White and Reverie, Jay and Mac, Films by Stanton, Blink, 31 Films, A Little Long Distance, Andrea Eppolito, who is a high-end luxury wedding planner, Penn Weddings, Justin Porter, Storybox Cinema, The Film Poets, Russell Kent Nichols, Fiore Films, Chapters. That's right. The music sensation Chapters, Multiply Media, and Eric Floberg. And who knows, maybe we might add another 1 or 2 on there as a special bonus sometime throughout the year. But you heard that list. It is jam-packed with so much talent, so much expertise, so many people that just kind of make you go, wow, I want to hear them, because I want to hear them.
So that's 25 that we have lined up for you. So every third week there's a guest speaker, basically, and we're timing it along with the curriculum that Nick and I have put together that we update and teach live. One thing I really wanted to hit on, Nick, is the idea that we start the year and we spend the first 3 or 4 weeks really helping you define your why. Why are you doing your wedding films? Who do you want to serve, and how do you reach them? Because I think a lot of us think about, we just want to serve whoever can pay for us. We don't really have clear direction. And this, honestly, is a year of intention. It's a year of you committing to a weekly get-together with awesome wedding filmmakers. It's a live Zoom call where you can interact with us. You can interact with the guest speakers. You can have Q&A. And we have a private Facebook group where we have homework and discussion topics and accountability groups and all kinds of things that like really are just setting up that accountability for you to weekly work on your business. People love that they can just set it in their calendar and know every week they're going to get that jolt in their system to be like, okay, I'm going to push forward. And we'll get into it in a little bit, but it really does change you after a year of committing and being around other people and getting to know them. And so when we built Mastermind, we're like, what did we wish existed whenever we started? We wish there was more accountability. I wish there was somebody that had been there before to kind of walk me through and give me guidance to help me save years, if not multiple years, off of the time that it takes to learn all of these things. And so we have a detailed curriculum now in our third year of saying, we're going to start with figuring out who you want to serve and why, and does your branding match up with that? Does your website match up with that? Does your social media match up with that? Do your consultations? And everything kind of flows through that, helping you find your intentionality, your intentional brand, and then hitting on all of the things when it comes to audio production, video production, how to shoot, how to edit, how to choose music, all these things should be filtered through your intentional brand. And the wedding filmmakers that we're seeing that are doubling their prices or adding $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 more per package within our mastermind group have caught on, and you watch these light bulb moments again and again where people are like, this is who I want to serve. I just booked the biggest package I've ever booked. This is the best wedding film I've ever produced. And so watching and building something like this over the last couple of years, you can feel the excitement from us because it is the thing that we can pour into the most. So guest speakers, yes. Weekly meetings, yes. I mentioned it a little bit about accountability or about the Facebook group. Nick, why don't you talk about just like what that's like as a Mastermind member?
Yeah. So, we have our weekly meetings and, it's John and I teaching, or, we bring in a guest speaker. And there is some interaction. We always allot, at least 15 minutes, sometimes 25 or 30 minutes at the end of each session for Q&A. But sometimes you have questions or things are going on, or we have our meetings on Tuesday and something comes up on a Friday. And so we have an exclusive Facebook group for everyone that is a part of Mastermind to go in and answer questions and connect with people and that stuff. And, there we can post film that you have questions about. You can post anything, hey, I'm really struggling with this. What can I help you with? And so it's a great place for community and connection and getting to know each other because, whenever you start the year, you don't know these people. And so it's a great way to see their faces, see their profile pictures, along with the questions they have whenever we get into our meetings. And another thing that we really encourage people to do within that group is post referrals. You get an inquiry and you're booked. Post it in that group and see if other people within Mastermind can help you with that. In the past couple of years, we have had several people that have gotten bookings just from the network and the connections that they had made from within the Mastermind group. And so it's a great place for community. It's a great place for connection. John and I are very active and very involved within that group. So there's the network. This year, moving forward, one thing that we're really going to build into it is accountability. And that's what we're going to talk about today in the podcast. But, we wanted to, that's something that a lot of people brought up, or John and I had this idea and we talked, that would have been great, is just setting up smaller groups within the bigger group of, hey, this is on you guys, you're on your own to do this, but just to connect with each other, check in with each other, see how you're doing. So that's another thing that we are going to really be pushing this year and fostering those kind of relationships. And then we have our big end of the year celebration, our retreat. First year we went to Scottsdale. This year we went to Palm Springs. Next year we're going to, we'll let you know. We'll let you know. We have a very short list of places where we're going to go. It's almost decided. But John, why don't you talk a little bit about the retreat and the awesomeness that is that?
Yeah, on the heels of it, put yourself in the shoes of, let's say you do join Mastermind. At the beginning of the year, it's like you're getting to know other people's faces, you're getting comfortable, you start going through, weekly training, you start asking questions, you start realizing there are a lot of other people like you. You start feeling like you're a part of this bigger group of people that like all have the same common goal. You're cheering each other on. You're referring weddings, you're second shooting weddings, you're meeting up with people in your area. Like you have this built-in network. And then after you've worked so hard for a year, we celebrate, we retreat, we relax, and it's like we go get pampered. We had massage therapists and all kinds of stuff. And like we, have a lot of fun, but the retreat itself is a 3-day, 4-day window of time where not only can you network with all these people you already know, and I'll talk about that in a second about how much fun that is to see people meet each other in real life after a year of being on Zoom. But we set up, we had 6 different couples with styled shoots last week, and you were able to go to Joshua Tree National Park and get some bougie looking, set up with expensive luxury vibe. And then you also got like some boho vibe, or you got some adventurous vibe. Like we set it up so that like you can build portfolio alongside shooting with me and Nick, or shooting with Kaylin, or White and Reverie, or White and Reverie is Kaylin, or KEJ, or Larev, or like you can ask questions of these people, like how do you get these gimbal shots? How do you, and like to watch people be able to just get hands on. It's literally elevating the wedding film industry. And so you get these styled shoots that we did, which was awesome. We had a huge pool party, hanging out just by the fire and hanging out and getting to know each other and connecting. We did a silent disco. We did a big dance party. We had a 90s themed party that was crazy and fun. And me and Nick dressed up like crazy people. And, but like the in-between times, the evenings, the breakfast, all that stuff. It's like you see all these connections being made in these lifelong friendships. We see year one Mastermind students still referring each other and still being part of this network. And the retreat itself, you get those styled shoots, you get to meet other people. We do new profile pictures or headshots for you. Like we have photographers that we've hired taking photos and video of you while you're working with couples, so you can have that for your website. And honestly, it's just like everything that I wish that I would have had, getting going. What am I missing about the retreat?
I think one of the coolest things about the retreat is, I've been to lots of other workshops for wedding video. We've been to Vision Quest and Venture, and which are incredible workshops that I highly recommend that you should go to. But one of the bummer things about it is that you go to these things and there's a majority of the people you don't know. Maybe you know of them, but there's a lot of people that you really don't know. And then you spend 3 or 4 days with them and you start to gel, you start to connect, you start to click, and then you leave. And so it feels a little empty from that regard. But what we do with Mastermind is we spend a year together beforehand. So now whenever we get there, there is no awkward, hey, who are you? Tell me about you. Like everyone for the most part at least knows of each other really, really well. And so we're kind of able to build off of those relationships that we have already built throughout the year. And that's probably my favorite thing is I'm not spending some time, being awkward, figuring out who people are. I know who they are already. And so we're able to jump in, dive deep if you want, or joke and talk about our inside jokes that we have, with each other that just kind of come up throughout the year or whatever it may be. And so that's really one of my favorite things about the retreat is that we're able to connect with other people, but we already have a relationship with them because of this year that we've spent together.
And it was, I have to say this because I don't know how many times I've said it, but like whenever Nick and I kind of were toying around with the idea of doing Mastermind in December of 2021, I think is when it was, a couple of years back.
Whenever we started, like the idea came.
Yes, 2020.
Like December of 2020. Yeah.
Thank you, the fact checker. I need more of that in my life. When we started, I had been chatting with Ryan Coral, a good friend of ours, in the summer before, just about like he had mentioned mastermind groups, and like we kind of over chewing, 6 or 7 months on like an idea of like a small mastermind group. We were like, what would work for the How to Film Weddings community? And like we were brainstorming while I was at an Airbnb with Nick in Wichita doing some content. And it was like, do we want to do this? Like, should we do this? And it was like, what would it be? And we kind of laid out like weekly meetings and bringing in guest speakers. And then like we could do like a big party, like get together. And we didn't know if anybody would say yes. And I literally remember like being very nervous to ask guest speakers, because we pay our guest speakers to be there, and asking the 12 guest speakers and saying like, we literally, we've got to get at least 12 people to sign up to be able to break even, like, and how nerve-wracking that was. And Nick and I, when we first put it out there, it's like, oh my goodness, will 12 people sign up? Because if not, we're going to have to tell everybody like, never mind, we're not doing it. And in year one, we had over 40 people sign up and 150 applications come in or something like that, which has been the consistent vibe of the How to Film Weddings community as we've built it over the years, which we love and appreciate. And then the next year, which is this year, it was like, I don't know if there's 40 more people that care enough to like invest into their business. And I remember thinking, oh shoot, I hope 40 people sign up again. Like that's kind of the baseline. And we had 82 people that signed up, that got approved, that joined, and hundreds of applications. And I'm sitting here thinking this year, it's just like, how many people, are going to join? We added an extra class, so the class sizes stayed, around 40 people each Zoom call. And it's like, we have the capacity for more, but we'll most likely sell out. And it's just a weird and awesome thing with this community. And so I wanted to encourage you, if you're out there and you're on the fence, if you want, send us a DM on Instagram at How to Film Weddings. We'll set up a Zoom call with you. We can talk you through if you have any questions about it. But I can't tell you how many times, Nick, that we've heard I was on the fence about it. I went ahead and applied, not knowing if I'd get accepted. I did get accepted. And then I did this, and it's like changed the trajectory of my career. Like this has been life-changing. And we have mentor sessions built into some of these packages, and extra get-togethers and all kinds of stuff that like is just set up to do our mission. And that's why I love it. And our mission is to elevate the wedding video industry. And this is literally raising the whole tide.
Yeah, definitely. So if I know we've chatted here for 10 or 15 minutes about Mastermind, it holds a special place in our heart. We are very proud of it. It's something that we absolutely love doing. It is so cool to see the lives that are being changed by, just being more intentional and being more focused on your business and that stuff. So if you would like more information, if you would like to fill out an application, yes, we do applications for this, head over to mmxhtfw.com, or if you go to howtofilmweddings.com, there's a Mastermind tab at the top where you can select on that. Fill out that application, and we will start reviewing those and be getting back to people very, very soon.
Yeah, and you said it, and I wanted to make sure we hit on it, that some people are like, who is this for? Who is Mastermind for? We've had people that are in their literal first year of business join, and we've had people that are in their 15th year of business join. The idea with Mastermind is we have an application that it's not a super hard application to fill out, but it kind of checks your heart of where you are in your business and your commitment level and whether or not you're ready to join. And sometimes we've turned down lots of people saying we don't think it's time. Our goal isn't just to see how many seats we can sell to the show. We want it to be effective for people. And so, if you're a few years into your business, you're feeling plateaued, you're feeling like you're low on bookings. A lot of people are like, well, when I get money, I will do Mastermind. And it's like, well, it's kind of the opposite. It's like you got to do something to invest into you so that you can learn what you need to be doing now so that you can be making more money in the future. So it's like, it's an investment, right? It's an investment of time. It's an investment of resource. But if you're out there and you're saying, is this for me? It's most likely for you. If you're out there saying these guys need to stop trying to sell us something, or they're annoying and whatever, it's probably not for you. Because we're not in the business of like, how can we just, we get paid to do this, and that's not the only reason that we're doing it. And you can ask anybody that's a graduate of the Mastermind group, and we'll have lots of things going on in the Facebook group and stuff this week. But our heart is, how can we help change your life, and how can we help change your business? So with that being said, if you're on the fence, be sure to put an application in. We can walk it through. It's about 24 hours or so of time before we're getting back with people, just because there's so many applications that come in the first part of the week. So we'll get back with you, let you know if you're in, let you know if we have some more questions, or if we want to get on a Zoom call with you to kind of double check to make sure it's the right fit. So yeah, that's who it's for. Nick, do we want to go to break and then we can get into talking about the next subject, or you just want to get into it? You want to go to break?
Yeah. I think we should go to break, and then we will come back and talk to you about some stuff that's important to us.
Nick and I have to tell you about one of our favorite places to upload our wedding films, and that is Love Stories TV. Love Stories TV is one of the best free resources for us wedding filmmakers. The best part is they are bringing the couples to us. All we have to do is upload our films and we are good to go. Upload unlimited wedding films to your completely free business page. Setup is easy and your films can be live in just minutes. Now is the perfect time to start uploading to Love Stories TV. So head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to check out all of the details and see how Love Stories TV is giving away $10,000 in cash to wedding filmmakers just like you. That's howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to start uploading and connecting with the right couples today.
One question that we see wedding filmmakers asking: what is the best site for licensing music? We have one answer: MusicBed. I have been exclusively using MusicBed since 2016, and our films are better because of it. I have been told during consultations that couples love our films because they feel raw, authentic, and that the music wasn't cheesy. MusicBed has a roster of incredibly talented musicians, bands, and composers who pour their hearts into their work, and you can hear the difference. Find the perfect song with MusicBed's intuitive search features like genre, mood, beats per minute, and key, which is probably my favorite of the search parameters. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed to do what I did and take your wedding films to the next level. Use promo code HTFW22 at checkout to receive 1 month free with the purchase of any annual subscription. That's howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. We are back from break. We've been talking about Mastermind, and now we want to jump into talking about accountability. We have brought that up a few times in talking about Mastermind, and so John and I just wanted to share a little bit of our experience about accountability. I forgot the word. It's right there. It kind of fell out for a second. So we're going to talk about accountability. One thing that I'm sure you know, listener, if you've owned a business for any amount of time, is that it can be lonely. Running a business, whether you're doing it solo or even if you have a business partner or you have someone that you work with closely, but the few of you that do that together, it can be a very, very lonely process, especially when you're in the grind. If you have a massive backlog or you have a lot of work to do, or you're just stressed, maybe not with the backlog, but just the sheer volume of work that you have to do thinking, up over this year. And one thing that John and I have been talking about a lot over the last couple of months is this idea of accountability. And so, John, why don't you share what we mean by that? I think a lot of people, if you're in a certain demographic, you automatically go to like church stuff and you're thinking, that kind of stuff. But that's kind of what we mean, but not necessarily what we're talking about here. So how would you define accountability?
Yeah. I realized that like from 2007 until 2017, I was kind of just an island doing my own thing. I was too cool for school. I didn't ask anybody for help, and I had to pay the price of probably like 6 of those years working on things that I could have just, if I had some accountability, I could have learned faster. And I think accountability, especially we're talking about Mastermind today and talking about you and your wedding business, is like someone just making sure that you're doing the right things moving forward in your business. This last year, about a year ago, actually, this week, I hired a personal trainer. It was an investment. It's expensive to have a personal trainer. And it wasn't like, oh, I just have all this extra cash. What can I do with it? It was like, hey, Heather, I really need to prioritize my health. And she agreed. And we were like, okay, this is going to be an investment. It's going to be expensive, but it's going to be worth it. You're laughing at me. What did I say funny?
Because you're like, I need to prioritize my health. And she agreed.
Yeah, she did.
She's like,
I was a little puffy. Yeah. I was a little puffy. I was getting there. Lost my dad a couple years ago. He was very overweight. I've lost a lot of people in my family from being overweight. And it was just like, I was just getting puffy, which wasn't great. And so I hired this personal trainer. The first thing was I needed to submit to somebody else's plan that had the results that I wanted in my life. Mm-hmm. If I hired a trainer that was morbidly obese, that probably wouldn't be a smart thing. And so like finding somebody to keep me accountable, like my trainer is very fit, more fit than me. And it's like, he asked me the first day, it's like, what are your goals? I was like, I want to look like you. Like, that's what I want to look like. And I was like talking about how I'd go back and forth losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight. And there was never any consistency. And he's like, well, that's because you haven't built a foundation. You haven't built lean muscle mass. You do CrossFit, you do all these 5Ks, you do all this running. So you lose weight, but then you haven't built any muscles. So like the thing you need to do is put together a plan with your nutrition, with your stretching, with your mobility, and with your resistance training, and you will see results. And it just like, oh, I could have tried to spend years figuring all that stuff out. And like, yeah, the internet, I could go on YouTube, but telling him my goals and saying, this is where I want to be. This is my family history. This is everything that, I'm thinking about. This is what makes me feel depressed. It's like therapy almost, you're getting there and it's like, okay, we've put together a plan. Now we have to be accountable to showing up and doing the work in the gym, and we have to be accountable to doing the work by prepping my own food and by stretching before bed and do it. And like we put together this whole big plan, and it's very similar. We're talking about Mastermind today. Like hiring a trainer is similar to bringing, joining Mastermind and saying, Nick and John have been there before. They are charging $15,000, $20,000 for wedding films. We like the way their wedding films look. We love the way this community is built. And so we get you into this group and say, well, what are your goals? Let's get down to the foundation. What's going on? Why do you want to do this? Why are you want to serving these clients? Why does your logo look this way? And then we can start putting together that nutrition plan for the year. We can start putting together that stretching plan. We can start. And then what happened with me is I get this plan. I'm all excited, right? But because I'm accountable, I told my wife, I told my trainer, 12 months. This is what I have. I'm going to commit to 12 months. And this is funny because this is how long Mastermind is. It's like by the time 12 months gets here, I want these goals. And so that gave me something to really look forward and look out towards. But then it was, okay, we're going to meet 4 times a week as with the trainer. With Mastermind, it's a weekly meeting. We're going to talk with our trainer once again. We're going to talk with our trainer. We're going to bring in some other pros and talk with them. And like over the course of the year, the beginning, it was a little clunky. It was a little odd. I didn't see any results, but I just was putting in the work and putting in the work and putting in the work and eating right and making chicken and making broccoli and doing all this stuff and stretching. And then sooner or later in the middle of the summer, I don't know which workout caused this to happen. It was like, oh, wow, I've lost like 8 pounds and my body fat is down. And it was like, this is great. I feel better. I've been drinking more water. But like slowly but steadily, because I had this accountability in my life, I was paying, I was investing my time. I didn't want to waste my money. And I had accountability with my trainer had an app that could see what food I was eating, to see track the workouts. I was very focused and very intentional for a year. At the end of the year, I'm down 19 pounds now from this time last year. I have about 6 pounds more of muscle, which is awesome. And I feel the best I've felt in probably 4 or 5 years. I posted a photo a couple weeks back on my Facebook from a year ago today and today. And it's like my face looks younger today. I'm not exactly where I want to be, right? And that's not what Mastermind is. We're not like this magic pill where you just pay and then all of a sudden you're charging $20,000 for wedding films. But the people that come to the meetings and come back to the meetings and apply the things and do those things for the whole year, they get to the end of the year and they're like, oh my goodness, I've lost 19 pounds. Or, oh my goodness, I'm charging $1,000 more per wedding. My wedding films look better. I look back on a year ago and my wedding films sound better. They look better. My branding's better. Mm-hmm. Nick, I've talked forever, but the idea here about the accountability is that like I paid for it. I paid for that accountability. I had skin in the game. There was a schedule that was locked and loaded, so I wasn't going to miss it. Somebody was waiting on me at the gym if I didn't show up and saying, where the heck are you? And then that person had the skill set to give me what I needed. Yeah. What do you have to add to that?
As you were talking about that, and, absolutely, I've seen the transformation that you have, and I think it's easy to kind of put everything in terms of something like the gym. I think at least people can mentally, kind of think about that and figure that out. And so, some of you guys are going to look at John, and if you've kind of watched our videos and kind of seen his transformation, like you don't know the work that went in behind it, but you can see the difference. And what is that thing that caused you to get to where you are today? Like which month was it? Which workout was it? It was all of them, right? And so you just move forward. I remember probably, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whenever Jen and I weren't in the best financial situation, we were in a lot of debt. And, I was talking with some friends from church who were in a very similar situation. And I was giving them advice and they were giving me advice. Whenever about how to what we needed to do to move forward, how we needed to get out of debt, how we needed to do this. And guess what? Neither one of us got out of debt because the people that we were talking to were in the same situation.
Yeah, that's good.
As you get going in your business, you are going to connect with people very easily that are kind of in the same season of business as you. So if you're in year 2, I would guess like locally, your vendor friends are probably going to be in that 1 to 4 range, plus or minus a couple of years of where you are. Okay. Some are ahead of you, but some are behind you. And whenever you want to talk about what you want to do in your business, maybe you're bouncing ideas off of these other vendors, but they're kind of in the same boat that you are. Mm-hmm. And so maybe some things will be helpful, maybe they won't be helpful, but for the most part, if you want real success, if you want real results, and you're willing to do the work, That's the big thing that I think so many people forget about is, oh, I just want to learn from Hello Tomorrow. I want to learn from KEJ. I want to learn from Penn Weddings. I want to learn from these people. And then my films will magically include great story. My films will magically sound incredible. But they don't want to do the work. It's not going to happen. So, so we're saying here, whenever it comes to something like Mastermind, is you have the opportunity to connect with people like John and I, who have been doing this combined like 23, 25, I don't know, years.
I'm 16 and I don't know what you are.
Okay, I'm like 11. So 27 years combined with John and I with expertise in filming weddings. John's biggest booking, is over $20,000. My biggest booking is a little bit over $15,000. And so when we're talking about raising prices and making more money, like we have some experience with that. Yes, there are people that make a lot more than we do. And we're not trying to say that we're on, that kind of level or something. But what we were seeing is we have expertise and we have experience in charging more. We have experience in working with editors. We have experience with putting lots of time and energy into our edits. We have some experience doing these things that your friends in your local networks, they just don't have. And not that they can't get there and not that they might not be that one day, but they've only been in business for 2 years. They've only been in business for 3 years and they haven't got that life experience that John and I have. And so if you want to grow, you want to get better, you need to spend time with people that are in the same boat that you, or in the boat that you want to get in. Right? It's that old adage of, you become the 5 books and 5 people that you hang out with, or, the 5 books you read and the 5 people you hang out with, or whatever it is.
You've molded 2 different sayings into one. I like
okay.
it.
Well, I'm gonna keep that. It's deep.
Yeah. You thought of it.
It was totally my idea. I didn't take it from anybody else. Because yeah. But if you hang out with people that are going the way that you want to go, or hang out with people that are already where you want to be, it's going to be much easier to get there. We had a mentor session with one of our mastermind people yesterday. And he says in the year, like he bought our course in November and then he joined Mastermind in January or February, whenever it was, right? So he has been a part of our stuff for a little over a year. He says he has tripled his average booking in that time. He was in, I think he's starting his 3rd year of doing this. Tripled his pricing because we have shared with him those things. So that's what I have to add. No, I've talked a while.
Yeah. One of the things you were talking about is like being in the same room with people. You're the sum, like your revenue or your average income is going to be the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And the only difference between you and today and a year from now are the books that you read and the people you meet is kind of the idea. So Nick, your 2 things, yes, what you're saying, accurate. And what I was going to say is like, when I'm looking at this list, you were like, John, your highest booking's over 20K, mine's over 15. And it's like, we know we have limitations. We haven't booked a $40,000 wedding, but you know who has? Peyton Frank or LaRev Films. Or Sam Jacobson can show you what to do. And that's why we're bringing in people to show you how to raise your prices. And then you think about people like Good Co Studios or Hello Tomorrow or Penn Weddings who are really good at storytelling. Maybe that's somewhere that you need to like get some inspiration. Tech kind of things. Matt Johnson's going to be on. YouTube Talk, social media. Jay and Mac's going to be on. Films by Stanton. You got Blink Films, 31 Films, technical stuff. I mean, all kinds of people to inspire you to like get those light bulbs on. And this is a year of like the Mastermind. I keep going back to Mastermind because it's, Mastermind week, but this is a year of like drinking from the fire hose, right? And we record every single week, every single episode, and you have lifetime access to them. So people can go back and listen when they're like, I really need to dive back into color grading. Cool. Let's go, check out that episode from White and Reverie, or like, how was TikTok? What do we do? And it's like, oh yeah, Jay and Mac talked about that, and let's talk about TikTok or whatever. Talking on outside of Mastermind, accountability, having a group of people, having people to push you forward is going to be that thing in 2023 that if you find your group of people, we love the idea of you finding it via Mastermind, but you need to be accountable to people besides just yourself. You need to be hearing from other people. You need to be hearing from other people and learning from other people, and be, like just seeing their films, seeing their work. It reminds me of whenever Blake and Nick and I, started a group thread and started talking about our films, and started, like, there's something about being around people that are your peers, on the same level, or like I was on a higher level when it came to what I was charging, but Nick was on a higher level when it came to his editing or whatever. And so like we can grow from being around each other. And so whether or not you join Mastermind and have, 100 people that you're learning and growing from and all these guest speakers, or you found your people, we can't tell you enough, by doing this on your own, getting backlogged, all this stuff, you're going to want to fade out. You're going to want to quit, because it's a vicious cycle. And that's one of the things we really hit in Mastermind, is like how to get out of this cycle that equals you've overbooked and underpaid yourself again and again and again. So, Nick, anything else you want to chat about? We've been going for a little while here. Any final things? I'll be quiet. I can let you land the plane.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think the thing that, we'll say to you if you're kind of on the fence or unsure about this is, post in our How to Film Weddings group and ask who's a part of Mastermind. I'd like to ask you your experience and get people's feedback, because, we stand by what this is and we think that it's valuable and it's important, but we also know that people's experiences and stuff could be different or whatever. So if you want some feedback, absolutely ask people. We want you to do that. Reach out to us on Instagram at How to Film Weddings. Send us an email, howtofilmweddings@gmail.com, if you would just like to have some questions. But if you would like to apply for Mastermind, if you're interested, we're only having the applications open for just a few short days. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking, yeah, maybe, we'll see, just fill out the application and then we can go from there. Again, that website is mmxhtfw.com, mmxhtfw.com, or if you go to howtofilmweddings.com, you can click on the Mastermind button that'll be at the top, and it will redirect you and you can get the information that you need. John, I am so excited for Mastermind launch, for getting ready to do this again. It's kind of crazy, because last week we're at the retreat and kind of celebrating the year that we had, and now we're getting ready to start it all over again. So I'm excited. I know you're excited. We're excited to see what is going to happen this year. So again, that's mmxhtfw.com. Thanks for listening, and until next week, we will see you.
See ya.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films? Look no further. Our friends over at VidFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. VidFlow is pay-per-use with no large upfront costs or commitment, and you can cancel at any time. VidFlow offers a premium viewing experience for all of your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years of hosting and an experience for your couples that will blow them away. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/vidflow, where you can save 20% off a yearly business membership by using promo code HTFW20. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way. Give your couples something to rave about by using VidFlow.